Hi everyone. So guys, welcome back to Unacademy NEET English channel. My name is Tina and once again right in front of you with a very important topic, that is how to make notes. So right behind me guys, you can see that we are launching Phoenix 3.0. The registrations have already begun. This is the last batch that we are starting for NEET 2027. Anyways, so if you are already a part of this or of other batches, these are the things that we keep telling students personally in the live class. But those of you who have still not taken any batch or who are planning to take the batch, I want to make certain things very clear which are important, which are actually sidelined and not given due consideration and due importance, but they can actually make or break things. Now, first of all, while making the notes, please understand and remember, do not make beautiful notes. Yes, that is the underlining statement here. Do not make beautiful notes. Students who are toppers, they are not making beautiful notes. Beautiful notes are meant for art students, not for a medical student who is genuinely preparing for NEET 2027 or whatever year. Having said that, it doesn't mean that you have to make it very nasty, or you don't have to care for your handwriting and it is not even legible to yourself, right, later on. But what are the important points that you have to take into consideration while making these notes for your NEET exam? In this session, I'm going to discuss it all, right? So what are good notes actually? How do the notes of a topper student look like? So in a live class, an educator, a teacher is teaching the same thing to everyone. But the notes of a topper and those of who are not able to score good marks, they are almost the same. They contain the same content. Where is it different? We are going to discuss it all. So first of all, you don't have to make beautiful notes. Then, how should your notes be like? So guys, remember, while making your notes, you should be able to answer this question: why am I making notes? Right? Is the purpose to revise faster? Is it to remember longer? Is it to avoid opening 10 books before the exam? If you are able to correlate with all these 3 points, then you are in the right direction. Then you are going to make very good notes, useful notes. As said in the beginning, you don't need beautiful notes to clear the exam with good marks. You don't need beautiful notes to be a topper. You have to make useful notes here. So make sure that you are making notes with this mindset so that you can revise faster, remember for a longer period time, retain things, and avoid opening multiple study sources at the last time. Then another point while making the notes. See, again, it's not one fit for all. There are two different types of students, right? There is type A student who likes to write inside the NCERT. They don't want to make a separate notebook. Absolutely fine. No problem with this. There is a second category to which I belong to. I cannot study directly from the book. I have to make those notes. So whatever category you belong to, it is 100% fine. Does not matter that this one will clear the NEET exam with better marks or this one will clear the NEET exam with better marks. No, this is not the criteria that which category you belong to. What is going to be the criteria? I'm going to discuss it one by one during the whole session, so please stay with me. So first of all, if you are also a type A student who likes writing things inside the NCERT, well and good. But now here, to begin with, please don't start highlighting things right away. Okay, don't do that. First, just read. Even if you are attending the live lecture, just listen to the teacher, and then you will need some sticky notes here. You understand things, you write down those extra points, whatever things have to be written to make it easy to remember. You write it all down in your NCERT. You'll have to paste some sticky notes or some A5 sheets if there is something more to be written in NCERT. That is it. Or there is sufficient white space given in NCERT also. If you write very precisely and neatly, you can do with that space as well. But still, sticky notes will help you. So you will have very compiled book. You will have everything in your NCERT. If you are type B student who cannot directly read from NCERT like me, and you want to write down everything in the copy first before reading NCERT, still fine. But then you must know what to write in the notebook, what to write in the NCERT. So in this session, we are going to develop further, and we are going to know what are we going to write in NCERT or what am I going to write in the notes. So next point is, first of all, if you are making a separate notebook, right, just please follow a three color rule, sorry. Don't keep that whole dabba of sketch boxes, right, sorry, sketch pens, and you are writing every line with a different color. See, this note making is not an art. We are not bringing an artwork here. Here, note making is a very scientific process. Actually, there is a science of making notes. So while you are making the notes, please use minimum color pens, but at least use 3 color pens, and make it very clear in your head that what are you going to use that color for. Let's say red color is only for mistakes, or you have kept red color only for writing the examples. Let's say not mistakes here, I am writing examples here. Red color for example, so that every time you open your notebook and you see red pen, your eyesight like strikes there, your eyes say straightforward go onto that line. Okay, these are the examples and I have to quickly revise. Then blue color for writing the main text, right? And you can keep black color, okay, I'm not writing it with black now, you can keep the black color for just highlighting the important things, or you can keep it for diagrams likewise. So you can keep a different rule also. You can choose what you are going to write with different colored pens. At the max 1 green pen, that's it. But I would suggest these 3 colors are more than sufficient. And then follow it all the time, that I am writing only examples with red color. Do you know, there is this theory actually I've read somewhere, that quickly changing the color from red to blue and blue to black and so on, this actually helps in brain exercise. This is actually a brain exercise, and it helps you in developing your decision making power quickly. So there is actually this theory that flipping through different colors help you become a better decision maker, and that too under quick circumstances. Are you getting that? So just follow this rule while making your notes. Next point is, so this is about your long notes, right? When you're watching the lecture for the first time during the live lecture, or you're reading things on your own. So first notes have to be very elaborate, whether these elaborate notes are made in NCERT or they are made separately in a register, in a notebook. After learning those notes, after learning that concept, after learning that chapter 2-3 times, after practicing those things, make sure now you are able to condense those notes, short notes. But do not make these short notes right after the long notes. You should be well equipped with all the concepts of that chapter before you jump onto this step. This step is important. You have to condense your elaborate notes into short notes, because at the end, near your exam, your elaborate notes will give you anxiety. Thick notes, no, they are not going to help. So when you have learned the chapter and you're going to squeeze those elaborate notes into short notes, what are the things you're going to write here? Now, in order to choose what to write in the short notes, there is a technique. Use this forget text test technique. Just think of what you're forgetting again and again, and what you might forget. See, we all quick realize that. But don't be very ambitious. No, I will be able to remember it somehow. No, that might be a matter of this moment. But if you feel this is slightly different, it is not very eloquent word, like it's not very common to your tongue, or you don't come across that term very frequently, please write that in your short note. And by the time you are making those short notes, you have already practiced questions also. So you have marked those mistakes, you know what to write in the short notes. Is it clear? So make sure that you use this forget test technique. What am I going to forget? What have I forgotten in the previous mock tests? What do you tend to forget? We all know that. Just you have to act very honestly there while making these notes. Is that clear? Then next thing is, so the overall purpose of your notes, guys, is if your notes, can you, while making the notes, just make sure that your notes serve this purpose. So you can always check the notes that you have made. Are you able to revise the chapter quickly through that? This is important. Can I locate any point within 10 seconds? You should not be lost in your notes. Where did I write that? I'm not able to find it out. How will your mind find it out? See, another thing while making your notes, be very, very clear in your notes. You don't necessarily have to need to have very beautiful handwriting. See, I've made it very clear in the beginning. We don't need artwork here. We don't need beautiful notes. We need clear notes. We need useful notes here. Clear, because if your notes are clear and spacious, then your mind will have a clear picture of that. See, we all have experienced. We all think, what had I written there? It was written, something was written in that upper left corner, but we are not able to recall sometimes. But now think back that while you were trying to recollect what was written in that upper left corner, there was something which was overlapping. You had created a mosaic of those notes. We don't have to have a mosaic vision. Okay, so make sure that you write the notes or every important point is easily located. It can be easily located in your notes. So make them spacious, make them very clear. And another point, why to make it spacious? You're leaving a space to add some important point or an important memory trick there. So leave that space. And if your notes are spacious, your mind will have a clear photogenic memory. Very important. These are very minor points that we don't take care of, but trust me, all the topper students, they might have the worst handwriting, or you might laugh that, okay, his or her handwriting is already like that of a doctor. But remember, they're always writing very clearly. Next point, you should be able to answer this question. Can I understand these notes after 1 month? Does it contain the previous mistakes? Is it better than opening NCERT? So if you're not making notes in NCERT, your register should have all those NCERT points. Like sometimes you also have to take down the exact NCERT line, like we do in the class also. We quote that NCERT line because direct questions are asked, or some line has a tricky word. So quote those direct NCERT lines as well in your notes. Make a cloud around it so that it is well highlighted. So you should be able to mark all these things. You should be able to answer all these things. If your notes are able to serve all these purposes, your notes are useful, right? Now, next point is whether it is in your register or it is in your NCERT book directly. So both category A and category B type of students, please add PYQ tags. You don't have to write the exact PYQ. Well, that is also supposed to be done at some places. If there is some very typical and a very different or a confusing type of PYQ, then you can write the exact PYQ, you can put a sticky note in your NCERT, or you can directly write it in your register. But putting PYQ tags means go through the PYQ, solve the PYQ once, and then put tags. Okay, this line. I have already shared multiple PYQs with you. We have discussed it before NEET 2026 also, NEET 2026 also. We'll be doing that again and again. And after every live session, we are completing the chapter. I am discussing those highlighted lines of NCERT. We are tagging PYQs in the class. So make sure you do that yourself, or you come to our classes so that we can do it together, because this is a very, very important point. You know, whenever there is a tag, okay, this line was a PYQ, we suddenly, that line becomes important, and we suddenly that line suddenly captures our attention. And every time we open and we see, okay, 2025, we cannot skip it. We cannot ignore that line. So make sure that you are putting right PYQ tags, at least for the last 10 years, right? Next, mistake notebook. Now, this is very, very crucial. Whatever level of your score is right now, you have to make your mistake notebook. Okay, with every question solving, you have to add the questions that are going wrong in this separate notebook. It is not your NCERT, it is not your register. See, apart from making a separate mistake notebook, yes, you can mark it in NCERT also. You have to mark it in your register also, that okay, make the symbol M for mistake. So every time you read NCERT or your register, your notebook, you know, okay, this was the question I went wrong with. Okay, then, but after or apart from doing that thing, necessarily, you have to make a separate mistake notebook, not the chapter wise, but random, like whatever test you are taking, you're writing down. And also an add-on I'm going to tell you here, if you are when you are making this mistake notebook and you are writing down the whole question, hashtag make it a point that you write it with a different colored pen. Let's say you're writing the question, mistake question, with blue, and then you're putting a hashtag and write it with red. What was that mistake really like? Like, where did you go wrong? Was it conceptual? Was it scientist that you didn't remember the year when the discovery was made? What was the exact point? Was it an example that you could not remember? So write the type of mistake also that you're making in that particular question. That's very important. Did you not read the entire question properly? Were you very excited right in the middle of the question, and you forgot to read rest of the options, that there was the last option said both A and B, but you were happy seeing just the first option? So write down what type of mistakes you are doing. You know, when you write it down, it becomes so emphatic that honestly, I think I have always used this technique personally. So when I write my mistake down now, and I go through the pattern, okay, this is my pattern of mistakes, then I change, then I improve. Try and let me know in the comment section which thing works for you and whether you are following all these points while making the notes or not. If guys, you are not able to answer these questions, if your notes are not serving these purposes, your notes might be very beautiful, but they are not going to help you in your preparation. Also, the notes that we make for just clearing our board exams and the notes that we require for competitive exams have a very different mindset. We need to have a different mindset also while making them, and they look very different. Just look around yourself. See the notes of your friend who is able to score 300 plus or 345, and the one who's making beautiful notes. Notes have everything, but the student is not able to perform even though she or he is studying. Look around yourself. Then after making this notebook, so remember guys, this has to be your revision pyramid. Okay, so first you have to make your elaborate notes, long notes, and this is from where you revise things. Till you don't learn the entire chapter properly, you have to use these long notes. Okay, once your knowledge about that chapter is fulfilled, then you move on to short notes. This will help in another revision, second revision. Second means once the chapter is syllabus is done or chapter has been revised 4 or 5 times, then you use short notes. Then 1-page notes. Then your only revision will be through mistake notebooks. Yes, I have already taken a session yesterday about how to improve. What should be your roadmap? But that roadmap is different for different type of students. Those who are scoring below 250 or up to 250 or 280, and those who are already above 300 bar and they are aiming for 360. So the roadmap is different. The notes have to be different as well. And the revision from which notes should be done at a particular time is also dependent on your performance in the tests. Is that clear? If you're not scoring 300 yet, you have to revise these elaborate notes again and again. You have to revise NCERT again and again, because we still lack good amount of knowledge. We are missing on NCERT lines. But once you have crossed that bar of 300, 320 and you're aiming for 360, use mistake notebooks. You have to go the opposite way then. Are you getting it? And finally, brain maps will also help, right? Then the best time to make notes. When should you make notes? Again, there are students who have already joined our batches, right? Those who have already joined the batches, please make sure. So those who have already joined our live batches, they should make these notes during the live class, right? But those who have not joined their batches yet, or who had previously joined and now they are just doing their self-study, see, they've already made notes. Okay, if their notes have served their purpose, fine. If you're planning to make the notes again, don't make your notes right during the first reading itself. Or if you're doing it for the first time on your own, right? Do not make notes before the class or during the first reading. First, just read the chapter. Try to understand it completely. And after, when you feel that, okay, I have understood the chapter, now again open the NCERT, and after understanding the topic, then you make your notes. See, during our live classes also, this is what we do. I will write, I'll explain everything, and then I'll give you time to take down those notes. So the first point is that you have to emphasize more on understanding things before you start making notes, right? Either during the live class, I'll explain, you will just listen, you will not write simultaneously, you will be given time to write. And if you're doing it on your own, then understand the topic first, then make it. Okay, so that you know what is important to be written and what not. Include the memory tricks, leave the blank spaces. Again, as I said, always leave spaces to add things. And guys, last not the least, the golden rule is that as time passes, as you keep on learning more things, your notes should go on getting thinner. If they're not getting thinner, it will not be useful during the last days near your exams. So make sure that you are using these notes very carefully. You're making these notes very carefully and put some effort, put some time. And again, as I said, while making the notes, you should be able to answer certain things. You should be able to answer certain things. Those notes are meant for revising faster, for remembering things for the longer time. So include memory tricks here only, the mnemonics and whatever. And avoid opening the books again and again. Include PYQs also, include NCERT lines also, memory tricks also, but make them very clear and legible, right? And such techniques we keep on telling you on daily basis. So finally, it is better that you, for a better and more focused study, you join these batches. Just last batch we are going to launch on 25th. The registration has already open. I am going to take this batch, right? And this is by Team Avengers. This will be the last live batch for NEET 2027. If you plan to enroll later, then you will have to just join us in the middle of the syllabus, and there will be lot of backlog for you to watch. So don't waste your time anymore. Let's get into the race as soon as possible. And note making is important. So make sure whatever you are doing, your notes have to be useful, not beautiful.